Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
I got a lot of thoughts here. Pam Bondi is out. I think it's a net positive big time, but I'd like to bring in Joe diGenova, the former U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. And nobody knows Washington like he does, and he's very close to Trump over the years and has done work on his behalf. And Joe diGenova, what is your reaction to Pam Bondi as Attorney General? She is out, fired.
Well, this was inevitable. She has no gravitas. Her performance in office was very poor. The president does not like people who do not have a command presence. She did not have a command presence. And one of the reasons she didn't was that she had no federal law enforcement experience. She went in there with no support whatsoever from the department. And one of the reasons is she hadn't earned it. She's not the type of person who encourages confidence. And her performance on Capitol Hill was a disaster, of course. The president didn't like it at all. And that's because she was never right for this job. She simply did not have the chops that you have to be Attorney General of the United States. And she interfered in the weaponization investigations. I, for example, had worked for almost a year with the incoming U.S. Attorney, Jason Quinones, to set up investigations to be ready to go. I was supposed to be hired to be the lead prosecutor down in Florida. And she nixed it. Bonnie didn't want me to be a part of it because she didn't want anybody with a name. So she lost months in those investigations down there, and that is a direct result of her interfering in the weaponization process.
You know, I think back to when she was nominated. Of course, Matt Gaetz, his nomination was pulled. When her name was entered, as I recall, even the left, the establishment in Washington said, yeah, this is okay. She has the experience. You know, this is a reasonable appointment. And thinking back, they really did not oppose her. Then they thought it was going to be a given. Did they want somebody like this? Somebody without the stature, somebody without the command, somebody that they could own, somebody that they could thwart easily. Do you remember that? Is that one of the reasons why they went along?
Greg, as usual, you're absolutely right. I remember it because I had been contacted by a group of lawyers outside the administration during that process wanting to know if I would like to be Attorney General. And I said, of course. I said, feel free to put my name in the mix. But of course, it wasn't going to happen because the Florida Mafia was going to be in control of everything. Now, one good thing did happen. They hired Todd Blanche to be Deputy Attorney General. Todd Blanche is a fabulous lawyer, a great litigator, a former assistant U.S. attorney from either the Southern District or the Eastern District of New York. So the department is in good hands. I would say that the department is now in better hands while he's interim attorney general. But Lee Zeldin seems to be a pretty smart guy, but he's never been a federal prosecutor. And I just hope that he keeps Todd Blanche and does not replace him, because if he replaces him, it's going to be a nightmare. They need people who've been in the department, who know how to run it, who know how to do big cases, and they don't have enough people like that.
Why is it so important here? Like, we have other branches, we have a Secretary of the Navy, Army, we have who've never been in the military. You see that all the time, but it seems like it's really, really, really important that you serve as a prosecutor before being a DOJ, a federal prosecutor, not a local prosecutor. And I think, what's his name? Zeldin was a local prosecutor at some point. Why is it so important? Why is it so critical?
Because the expectations for the Justice Department and the Attorney General are very high. And that is a very, very good thing, that we have high standards for the people who hold that office. The power to investigate is the power to destroy. Look what Garland did to Donald Trump. Look what Obama did to Donald Trump by abusing the Justice Department. So if you're going to put somebody in there now to investigate weaponization, it should be somebody who is sophisticated, who's done complex criminal investigations, who can get up in front of a microphone and answer questions, not run from them. I mean, there's radio silence out of Miami and Fort Pierce, where these investigations allegedly are going on, well, that's fine. There should be silence because it's a grand jury. But nobody has any idea what's going on down there, and they wonder why the base is upset. You can't have radio silence on something that's this important to the president, to the country, that people cannot forget. For 9 years, Democratic prosecutors and Barack Obama and Joe Biden tried to destroy an incoming president and a sitting president of the United States. It is a scandal of immense proportions. And unless those cases are handled properly in Florida, it will go unnoticed in history.
And one of the reasons why they get away with it, Obama and the rest and what they did, I think part of it is the illegal establishment, the nature of it, the nature of the media. Like, look, the institutions, the establishment, the people who matter, they think Trump is a bad guy. And that rubs off on lawyers. You got to be a very independent, unique kind of person to be impervious to that kind of smack talk, because it is smack talk. And they rely on emotionalism. Like, somehow they have convinced themselves that this is a righteous cause to get Trump. And I feel like Pam, deep down, if we gave her the truth serum, would be more in line with Obama than Trump.
Well, I can tell you this. She didn't have the chops for the job. She didn't have it in her belly. She didn't understand what the mission was. And that's because she was inexperienced. You do not put somebody like that in a job like the Attorney General just because she was part of the voluminous impeachment defense team doesn't mean squat. And state attorneys generals are a dime a dozen. There are 50 of them, and 51 counting the District of Columbia. But the bottom line is this. That can prepare you if you're from a big state and you've got complex issues. She didn't have that experience, and it showed. And by the way, gravitas matters. When you get up in front of a microphone and you represent the people of the United States, you better look and sound good. She didn't. I don't care what her hairstyle was or her dress or her pantsuits or all that stuff. You got to know what you're talking about, and she didn't.
And here's an example of that. I mean, this was mortifying. Go ahead. The Attorney General before the Judiciary Committee, for crying out loud.
The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And the NASDAQ smashing records.
And you know what's pathetic? I mean, she thinks that if I just say this aggressively enough, Trump will like it. Trump is smart. He's a genius smart, and he wants his people to be impressive. And that was that was lower than amateur. It was pathetic.
Yeah, she's all hat and no horse. And that's the problem. And that's not what this job is about. I was deeply offended by the fact that such a tremendous amount of work by very smart former agents, former prosecutors went into trying to help the people in Florida put together the weaponization cases against Obama and Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Eric Ciaramella, the CIA guy who started the whole thing, whose name should be included in all of these indictments as they come up. Bottom line is this. She didn't even understand that.
Well, it's amazing. Is there enough time for Lee Zeldin, whoever it is, to, make a difference going forward? Are we going to have the accountability that we deserve, that history that America deserves? I
would say that if Florida does not come up with some indictments within the next 2 to 3 months, it will have all been lost.
Oh, boy. Well, that does not sound good. That does not sound good. But it's a major step in the right direction. And
it is that. Zeldin better be ready for a rough ride, though. I mean, he's got his big boy pants on. He's had people trying to destroy him inside the EPA. I mean, the EPA is just full of nutbag leftist climatologists. They're screwballs. But he's never seen anything like the people inside the Justice Department, the careerists who are Democrats, who despise Trump and who think that going after him the way they did was just fine. Listen, there are more Jack Smiths inside the Justice Department today than there were before this administration started.
Oh, my gosh. Real quick, serious question. would you be available to serve as Attorney General if President Trump called and asked? And do you think you're confirmable?
Well, of course I would. You would never turn down a president for the offer. Am I confirmable? Sure. I've been confirmed before as United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, and there would be no reason not to confirm me.
Well, I love it. And I think I'm going to get the word out again. You know what? Sometime. Joe diGenova and his wife, Victoria Tensing, you guys are total patriots, total pros. And I so appreciate you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Greg. Great to talk to you.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter.
Sacco and Felix, New York and New Jersey's premier attorneys at law. Their team brings decades of experience across a wide range of practice areas. Whatever life brings, they're your legal team. From everyday matters to complex cases, they've got you covered with the experience you need and the results you want. Because when life gets complicated, they make it simple. SaccoFilas.com. SACCOFILLAS.com. 2 C's, 2 L's.